Hello. Ryan, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, you can still hear us?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. I have to turn the audio off on like two different places and that, so it doesn't go into that,
Mm-hmm.
that really funny loop.
The death loop.
Yes, I have it on recording right now. I'm not taking it off. I have my sticky note to remind myself as well. And tonight I know we have the park tour.
Mhm.
But the weather doesn't look very promising, so we'll have to see. I've been checking it momentarily. We might be able to squeeze her in,
Yeah, let's see here.
but if it's bad, I don't want everybody just to drive there and
Yeah, there's some stuff west of us, but I don't know if it's gonna hit us or not. Yeah, I think we just kind of play it by ear.
yeah, that's kind of what I figured is we can take a look at the weather right after the end of this meeting and it shouldn't take us too long to get through all the agenda items here
No.
tonight, so.
And if we end up only going to one of the stops, the pool for, we could probably do the pool without too much of an issue.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Hi.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. I'm all right. How are you?
Kylie, sorry, I'm so confused all the time.
It just got.
On what? Oh, no, there's probably, you're on a lot of committees and
Well, that doesn't give, that's no excuse.
no, you're on a lot of them, so I think.
That's a big trick.
Hi, welcome back.
Thank you. That's all I needed to.
Kylie, did anybody indicate they're gonna not make it tonight?
Aria,
Okay.
did, but I didn't hear anything from, we're missing Lily and
Erica.
Erica, okay. Yeah, so.
Okay. Well, we have a quorum. so
Erica did let me know last week, sorry.
Oh,
She-
okay. She's
I'm
not
so
here.
sorry.
It's okay.
She is not gonna be here tonight, and then, Aria just tonight, just this evening had let me know that they also could not.
So we
attend.
just don't know about Lily.
Lily
Okay.
did not communicate.
Okay.
Mhm.
How you doing?
How are you guys doing? It was, I was in Colorado. So, yeah, we were visiting my
Nick,
parents live
I
out
was
there in
also
Colorado
planning to
Springs.
get, assigned seating for
So
the
you're back.
following meeting.
So I'm back.
You were gone for,
I'm for school to start.
you're okay with that? Yes. Or you wanna work with me on that?
Yes.
I don't care.
Okay, then I'll put
Well,
it together.
I kind of did two
To get, like,
back-to-back,
name
like,
plaques.
I
so
am,
my daughter
Oh,
I'm
went to
getting name
college there.
tags.
And
Say,
then
You
we
already
went for a
got
couple
one.
days, and then
You
we
guys
Yeah.
both got one.
Say, I have assigned seats at
We were there
planning
for-
commission.
Yes,
6 days.
so I'm
Yeah.
following suit with Plan Commission. I talked to Abby already.
Okay.
Back in the day, as council, they used to switch us around every 6 months.
Oh, really?
I hated it,
Oh,
but
very
I
sweet.
get it.
Order of-
They're both at the high
Yeah.
school.
Your district.
Yeah, a freshman and a senior.
All right, it is 6 o'clock and we do have quorum. Unfortunately, we have to leave the door open. Well, we have to leave one of the two doors open.
I don't think it matters because they're just doing the whole
Yeah.
hallway.
So hopefully it'll be pretty, hopefully it'll be quick.
Little tiny kid. Yeah. Yeah, Gracie just made it, so.
Just grabbing the
I
door.
just
Yeah.
grabbed her up and then ran here. So, in fact, this is
Hopefully
afternoon.
he'll
So, Avery last year as a.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Go ahead and call to order the August 18th, 2025 Parks Recreation Forestry Commission meeting. Kylie, do you have roll?
Yes, we have excused and absent Tressler, Trucios, and Pollock. But we do have a quorum with 5 members tonight.
Perfect. All right, then the first order of business will be the approval of the minutes from our last meeting. Did anybody have any changes to those minutes? All right, I'll accept those minutes as submitted. On to new business. So first order of business would be, first agenda item will be Resolution 2025-33 to amend the 2025 capital projects budget, fund budget for the Lakeview Park Tennis Pickleball Courts. This is as a result of the substandard ground underneath of our tennis courts.
Yep, so there was a previous meeting that we discussed just an overview of the Lakeview Tennis Court project. I can't remember who was in attendance at that meeting. I think it might be a new topic for a few people. The poor soils with Lakeview and the contract that we have. Is this a new topic for a few of you? Or you guys were all
No,
in
we were,
attendance?
yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I think it was
So.
like the first meeting.
Okay, yeah, it might have been the first meeting, so I just, and make sure everybody is aware of the current project we have with PCC Sports is under contract with us currently. They got to the point where they were excavating, to put in, storm sewer, or not storm sewer. Is that right, Ryan? He's online from Rutler as well, so, he can also help with an overview of the project, but.
Yes, Kylie, they did cut it down to their subgrade elevation before they start putting in their base material. And like you said, the storm sewer, there's some storm sewer pipe and under drain that goes underneath the courts. So that's the stage that they were at.
We can't close the door.
Yeah, we have to leave the door open because it's
We've
open
done
meeting.
one.
Yeah.
Kylie, can you make it a little louder?
No, I cannot make it a little louder. I'll just, Ryan, if you can just kind of speak up a little bit. We have some background noise tonight. But it seems to be going away at the moment, so.
Okay, sounds good.
Ryan was just reiterating that they were getting down to subgrade, to put storm sewer in and, put base work down. And when they got to that point, they noticed some very, very poor soils. And at that time, we had to stop work as they did 6 test pits around the construction site and, noticed very poor soils. And, that I have in, the CGC, or subgrade observations attached in agenda item 2, just for, so that you guys can see that as well. But, once we got down to that, we had to make a decision of how to move forward. And we worked with the city attorney, PCC Sports, that we're under contract with, kind of to determine the next steps. We figured out, the depth at which, we evaluated the depth at which across the courts we had to get down to, and what soils we could still save, and kind of cut costs there. But PCC Sports ultimately gave us a change order or a quote back that said we can do this work for over $167,000, I believe. Their quoted price came back with a change order, and we presented that to the city attorney. And because that price is 15% above the contracted price that we have set with PCC Sports, we cannot move forward with a change order that's above 15%. So all in all, you have to be within that 15% throughout the entirety of the project. So it led us to our second option, or our next step, which was to bid out the extra work of the project, which was to remove all the bad soils and take the material, that good material that we have still there, and reuse that material and then add backfill in. And so that's essentially what's on the agenda tonight, is to approve the award of bid for that extra work to get the base set for PCC Sports to continue their contracted work with us. So with that, we're coming in at, needing more dollars for the project because of the poor soils. And, in the resolution, and I have the resolution first because it is all based off of financial, how we can move forward. The, resolution is to cover the cost of the, new work with, if we award the bid to, G Pro Excavating, and then also the agreement with Rettler for the additional work, and some, or a few other, permitting, items and contingency as well to make the project equal $1 million. And so now that it's $1 million, we had to go through, and figure out where to get that additional funding from, and to increase the budget. And so I'll just kind of walk through the budget, and I tried to give a good overview. So current budget, what we have allocated, this is our park development, park improvement fund that we have allocated to this project. And remember, we have 50% of it allocated. About 50% of it allocated because 50% of the project is new pickleball courts, and it's not just reconstruction. At a future meeting, we'll be talking further about park development funds and how they can be used, and giving you guys a little bit more information on that. So if you do have questions, I will try my best to answer park development fund questions, but that will be a future agenda item, as I think it's important to make informed decisions. But that can be at 50%. And then we have capital borrowing funds at 50%, or balancing out at the other 50% of the project. I know it's not equal, but that's where we got, with all the budget resolutions that we had, we moved money already a little bit with two other resolutions that took place on this project to move money earlier. I don't know if you guys remember the two budget resolutions that we had to approve at the bid award stage of the project, but I can send you those budget resolutions before tomorrow night, Katie, if you wanted to take a look at those.
Thank you.
So we had a total allocated is 875,000 currently for the project, and the requested project budget would get the amount to 500,000 for each of the buckets per se. The 210 fund, which is the park improvement, park development fund, and then our capital borrowing. Where we're getting the funding for park development, we have the funds available in park development to allocate towards that, which is an additional $85,000. And then I am suggesting to pull money from our playground improvement program. I know we want to see as many dollars to our playground improvement fund, but looking at all the projects that we have going on this year, that's really the only bucket that I see we have money. We have money for in 2025, and then in 2026, I increased the budget from what you guys approved, plus $40,000 to equate to that missing, or to where these funds are being directed to. So in our capital request for 2026, I increased it before it went to finance department, because I projecting that you guys wanted to keep that at the same rate. And then playground replacement program would be decreased and go to that amount. But we'd still get our contracted work done with park architecture and planning, by the end of this year. And then, the bid award, just to kind of go through the rest of the budget here. So the bid award, for PCC Sports, our change orders that were decreasing, the contract with PCC Sports, because we were able to remove the bounding wall. That was a part of that first resolution when we removed the bounding wall that was approved by
Right.
that, if you guys remember removing that. And then we also removed, some items from the work that's gonna be happening. So Ryan can speak to that a little bit more. It was like, geotech material and some base and contingency that had to do with the, subgrade work that's now gonna be covered by G Pro Sports or G Pro Excavating. So that was removed. And then design work and bidding and construction oversight and staking observation and all of that we have contracted for Rettler to complete the project comes to 72,000. And then we have the bid award on the agenda tonight for approval, which is $151,000. And then admin and other contingency we have is $41,000. Of course, if we don't spend it, that we don't need to spend it, but I don't want to have to come back again for a small dollar amount. So we, working with Bill, our finance director, determined to get to $1 million. So it's a split 500,000 from capital borrowing and 500,000 from park improvement, park development funds. This resolution would approve the increase, in park development funds by $85,000 and the transfer of funds from the playground improvement or playground replacement program, $40,000 from that fund to this borrowing fund for this project. So that's the budget resolution, an overview of the work that needs to be done. And where we are year to date. And I probably missed a whole bunch of little details in between, but Ryan from Rettler that we have contracted for construction oversight bidding, and this entire design and project, is also online to answer questions that you may have about the project. But I'm looking for approval.
Sorry, so the recommendation on the staff memo, or, under where we were just talking, yeah. So my understanding is we're adding the 80,000, taking that from the developers fund and the 40,000 from the playground equipment. And then I'm afraid I don't understand what the $7,500 contingent upon the city attorney.
Oh, okay,
Tell me
so
what that number means.
I put this recommendation, and this is not in order, maybe that didn't help, but there's 3 agenda items on tonight. And I use this staff memo for each agenda item, cause it's all the
Okay,
same,
sorry about that
thing.
then. That's
So,
my bad.
this first agenda item is approval of the budget resolution. The budget resolution for, moving the funds around. The 7,500 is, for an agreement, which we already had funds to do, but we need to approve the agreement with Rettler, Corporation to do construction oversight and bidding for the additional work with G Pro Excavating, because they have to monitor the, entire base work portion of the project. That's agenda item 2, and I should have put them in order. But that comes out of this bucket, which we already had allocated funds for.
Got it, okay. And then, I'm sorry, I have a follow-up. You mentioned at the very beginning of the explanation that, something about the pickleball courts being new. Am I to understand that Park Development Fund does not cover anything that is new? Is that right?
Nope, opposite.
Opposite.
Park development.
Is
fund-
all for new?
Yep.
And
new
so
use.
we did we not have the budget for the whole thing to be covered by park development?
For this project, because we're replacing tennis courts, and it's not creating a new use, we use capital funding for the 2 tennis courts, the half of the project, and the 6 pickleball courts. We don't have pickleball courts there currently,
Mhm.
so we're able to utilize, and that was a decision you guys contemplated upon budget approval and project design approval, of how that funding would be tied to this project. But the 6 pickleball courts, because they're new use and they're new, were able to be funded by park improvement, park development funds.
Thanks, sorry about my confusion, as usual.
Any other
Good
questions?
question.
Because this is, I mean, you can't really go backwards in time and fix anything, but when you did soil test or the testing prior to this project even being, prior to the demolition of the current courts, how was this not caught?
That's a really good question as well, because I asked that, and I've asked that to multiple design teams, and I think Ryan can speak to this, and I can also provide a little context, but we typically have soil boring, soil testing done. We did for this site, we hired and got 6 soil borings at the site, and that's in I believe that's on the agenda somewhere.
Conley, when were the tennis courts originally constructed?
I'm just finishing answering the question that Nick had. And then I'll answer your question next. And Ryan can kind of follow up a little bit, so we had 6 soil borings test pits done. And on that report, there was some degree of poor soils noticed in the report. And so there were contingency funds that were put into the project, but they weren't high enough. And the soil testings that were done didn't show the large magnitude that was underneath the court when we kind of uncovered it all. And so we didn't plan for this, but now knowing that Lakeview Park has a lot more organic soils, I think we have to take this into consideration as we're building around this park or within this park. Ryan, if you can add some more to that question that everybody's going to be asking tonight and tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously that's a great question. And that's why we do geotechnical testing as we get into the project. We did early on, at the beginning here. We had a geotech firm come in and do borings through the courts and around the perimeter of the courts. And they had identified some darker soils. They called them slightly organic, but not a real major concern that was presented in that geotech report. And then when we were able to uncover them, and PCC Sports peeled the existing pavement and base off, and they were hitting those real black soils, and also branches and logs and stumps that they were just digging up in the middle of that black soil. That's when we had CGC come out and do those test pits. And then the original borings were just borings done where you just do a boring and it's a small diameter where they are pulling up some of that soil. But as they were able to completely uncover those black soils and dig more of a big hole, they were also able to take more of a sample of that and determine the percent of organics in that soil, which was a high percentage, which led them to the classification of peat, which just doesn't have long-term stability. Over time that soil would break down. But the difference between the original borings and what was done later on partially had to do with the mechanism of a small diameter boring versus exposing the soils and digging a larger test pit with a backhoe and seeing more material, and obviously different locations, because you're not always, you do tests at certain locations, but you can't test everywhere. So they may have been different areas that were identified. But also there was just a difference in the slightly organic versus highly organic that was found between the 2 different classifications.
Okay, so just kind of like almost too small of a sample size in the initial, then once you're able to like see the full picture. then we can-
Yeah, I think that's part of it. You know, that's always the risk when you're doing subsoil investigation because you're just looking at a very isolated location. And then part of it is the classification by the firm that's doing it as well.
Okay, thank you. And any other questions? When were they originally built?
Yeah, I was just thinking that when they were originally built, they were trying to do it as low a cost as they could and had an area that needed to be filled in. And this is probably 20 more years ago.
I would say like 50 years ago. It was actually these were one of the original assets put into the park. So these are probably one of our oldest assets along with the Precy Park Shelter in our park system. But they, I tried to go back on the DCI map as far as you can go back, and I kept on seeing them on there. So they're very, very old, and I couldn't find them.
Historic.
I couldn't find them in any of the project files as far as the actual year built. And then another thing with this is that the current courts are kind of built up. If you notice that the sidewalk, the reason why we're pulling them down and is for ADA compliance, to help with that sidewalk incline, and then also the transition from the parking into the courts. And because we're bringing them so far down, we had to remove a lot of material, and then you get to that ugly stuff underneath too, I think. So if we would have built them at the same, we might not have hit the bad soils as much, so.
That makes sense.
Any other questions? Okay, so we'll have three motions on the table for this project. The first one will be the resolution to amend the budget. So kind of go one at a time here. So the first one would be the resolution 2025-33 to amend the capital projects budget to move the money around to pay for the continued excavation and mitigation of the soil underneath of the tennis courts.
Move approval.
Okay, do you have a motion for approval? Do we have a second?
I'll second. This is Nelson.
All right, motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, then the second agenda item, Kylie kind of already talked about a little bit. It's the $7,500 for some of the work that's already been done to oversee the bid process for the excavation work and some of the other construction services that will need to be done as a result of this work. So is that a resolution?
No,
it's just an
amendment
tonight.
to agreement,
Okay, so
amendment number 2.
I'll move to approve amendment number 2 with Rattler.
okay,
I'll second.
we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, and then agenda item number 3 is the award of the bid to G Pro Excavating LLC for the work for the work to mitigate the poor soils so we can continue with our tennis court project. So accept the motion.
Move approval.
Okay, we have a motion for approval. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we got a second.
Is the second by, excuse,
Michelle.
Bob? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right, and then any discussion on that motion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, so we've got those three agenda items all taken care of. Work can now continue. Well, we're recommending approval to council and they meet tomorrow night. Is that correct?
Yep, finance and common council.
So they will take this up tomorrow night. All right, agenda item number 4, agreement with Harmony Construction Management for construction management of the Precinct Park Shelter in an amount not to exceed $17,600.
All right, so for the Priest Park Shelter, we are in need of a construction management team to oversee the construction of the Priest Park Shelter. Right now, we have we're working through getting an official contract with ABC to construct the shelter within September 2nd timeframe to mid-March. And we connected with Harmony Construction Management to do the construction oversight. They did the construction oversight at Lakeview Park Shelter, the remodel at Lakeview Park Shelter. And so we reached and reconnected with them to help with this project. And they basically will oversee and make sure we have a good product in the end. And they will plan to follow up a meeting. We'll have to select the best time for them to come and circle back and give a project update. But that will be sometime during the construction phase of the project. And the total amount of the agreement with them is $17,600. It falls within the approved budget for this project. Finance Common Council approved the budget resolution on Tuesday to follow the last Parks Rec Forestry Commission. I know it wasn't approved by PRFC for the budget, but the Finance Common Council approved the budget for the Precinct Park Shelter. So we're moving forward with the construction of that project. And then this is basically the construction oversight to continue to move forward.
Okay.
Kylie, can I ask you to go back to what you started talking about? Did you say that this Harmony works with ABC or?
So I just refer to ABC. So if I could say ABC is, oh my gosh, it's not American. Advanced Building Corporation, that's who we contracted.
That's not anything to do with like the roofing ABC.
I don't think so.
Roofing?
The group from Beloit.
Yeah.
I think that's ABC. I
That's
think they're just
ABC
construction supply. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Oh, yeah.
Glad to
I
have
should
that
call them by
distinction.
their full name. Advanced Building Corporation is who we awarded the bid to for the Precinct Park Shelter
Sure.
at the Common Council meeting.
Great. I appreciate that.
Yeah, my acronyms over
Mm.
here, sometimes saying all the words out is so much.
I'm just not good at the jargon.
No, I will, that's good to,
No worries.
All right, any other questions? Otherwise, I'll accept a motion to approve.
I will move that we approve the amount of not to exceed 17,600 for the administrative portion of the shelter building project.
All right, do you have a motion? Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. Under agenda item number 5, an agreement with architecture and planning for the planning service to update our corp.
this was just the official agreement. I know we discussed it at our last meeting. And this is basically, I just want to make sure this is on the agenda, that this is the official agreement. I have attached here with architecture and planning to get approved before it goes to finance and common council. So I don't have to go into detail on this project as we discussed it at our last meeting. So unless you guys have questions, I'm happy to answer.
Any questions? Otherwise, accept the motion.
I would move approval.
Okay, do you have a motion? Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, on to, is that the last of our
6
new
is
agenda
just
item?
a liaison reports.
All right, last week at Planning Commission, the big thing that'll impact us is that they're starting to redo the subdivision ordinance. So basically, how do we subdivide our land? One of the pieces that will come out of that is the definition of what kind of land will be accepted when developers have to either provide parkland or dedicate parkland or provide fees in lieu of. What are the characteristics of that land they would have to dedicate to make sure it's up to the standards? I think there will be a discussion on, would we allow that land also be conservancy land? So that's gonna be an interesting discussion, I think.
Yeah.
Also looking at I'm not sure if this will get into that, but, or get into the topic of park development fees. Because many developers, instead of donating or dedicating the required amount of land, will pay fees in lieu of. And our fee schedule might get changed around a little bit. I think that's been in the works for a few years, but I think that might also be part of that conversation, so.
I can just provide a quick little update, hopefully.
Okay.
So we have Baker Tilly contracted with the city, to review our fee structure and provide a, hey, this is where we should be at based off of a lot of, calculations and, they've got a draft recommendation, and that to go forward to common council, but this body will have to take a look at that and make a recommendation to common council on what the fee structure and plan commission, what that looks like. So far, the planning department, last week, we finished up on an entire Excel spreadsheet, basically reviewing all the fees across Dane County, so that we have comparables, because that's something I think you guys all would want to look at is if they're recommending a 400% increase in our fee structure, what does that look like compared to similar communities that have parks of our size, our kind of a park system that we have. I'll have to get some more information as far as parkland definition and defining what parkland dedication should look like in fees. I'll be making a pretty strong recommendation to help guide us in the future of what active parkland looks like.
When was the last time the parkland dedication fees were actually changed or upgraded?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but we have that as a part of the presentation and documentation. So it's been a while.
It's not been the last couple of years.
No,
Okay,
no.
then it's, from my memory, it's not been, it was probably before 2008.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's been a
I
while.
would expect a huge increase just for inflation.
So
Sorry.
we'll get
John,
there when we
jump
get,
in there.
yeah, so, well, there'll be a
End of the year.
interesting topic of conversation, I think, once
Yeah.
that comes in front of us, so. Okay. Do we have the Conservancy Lands meet since we've last met? Do we have an update from Conservancy Lands?
We haven't met since last month. We only
Okay.
meet once a month.
Okay.
Last Wednesday.
All right, so with that, we have completed our agenda, so I will declare this meeting adjourned. Right, so we are gonna head over, the weather looks like the rain might hold off for a little while, if it does rain again. So I think the plan is to head over to the pool, and then if weather permits,